exec, el exec, el Vele, el fenómeno que todos quieren ser, el chamaquito que no pueden entender.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to episode 147 of the Exec Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Les Wasa. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the comments, follow me on all my socials, do all that good stuff. We had a good weekend of football and other sports. It was exciting. We're going to talk about Aiden Hutchinson. We're going to talk about the dumpster fires all across the league, the Jaguars, the Raiders, the Cleveland Browns, the Carolina Panthers, the Dallas Cowboys. Man, how funny is it when you move on from your first ballot Hall of Fame left tackle, you don't pursue or you don't re-sign your all-pro running back, your Pro Bowl running back. You don't draft anybody of consequence on the outside to help your all-pro receiver. And then you pay your all-pro receiver and you pay your $60 million a year quarterback resetting the market. And the last 4 home games, you have lost by a record amount in the NFL. Home games. And 47-9, I mean, it is... I told you guys we're going to suck. I told you this. This is not nothing new. I told you were going to suck. Why? You can't run the ball. And if you can't run the ball in the National Football League, you are shit out of luck. And you guys cannot run the ball. Shit, even the Steelers can run the ball a little bit. You guys cannot run the ball. You guys run the ball for 2.5 yards a carry or less with all 3 of your backs. None of them work. Vaughn, Dowdle, Ezekiel, Elliott, nobody. Concrete feet. Your offensive line is atrocious. We can all tell that Tyler Guyton, Tyler Smith, you know, Travis Frederick is not there no more. It's looking like it's over. The window has passed. Now you're just a hemorrhaging money franchise like the Rams used to be. Now they're just injured. Now you're injured, though, because you're Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence, but your defense sucks, too. You can't stop the run. That's why a team like Detroit, who is based off on physicality, running the football and smash mouth football, bludgeoned you to death. It's just par for the course, baby. When you believe in Dak Prescott. And that's all you say. Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott, Mike Zimmer. That's our recipe to win. Guess what? They don't win. All right? But we'll get to that. Remember when I said in NASCAR this week that we're going to Charlotte Roval, right? And I said, damn, the Hendrick cars are really they're really dominating. Like they're in the championship chase, all 4 of them, and they're really dominating. But then I also said that watch out for number 5. Number 5, Kyle Larson. Because he's a really, really, really good road course racer to the point that he can run an Indy car if he wanted to. And maybe Formula One. Maybe. I'm not even putting that out there. IndyCar for sure, because I've seen him operate an IndyCar at the Indy 500. This man dominates. Doesn't win the first stage. Tyler Reddick does that. Tyler Reddick then crashes out in the second stage, goes all the way back to 36th. And with 25 laps left, he is 14 points down from making it to the next stage of the championship. This is your regular season champion guy. So you're basically the guy who went in with most points. And this man proceeds to go on a 25-lap binge of passing people, while Logano, the guy that was in third at the time, Logano, so how it works is, especially in the playoffs, every position is 1 point. So think of it this way. Reddick was 14 positions of advancement to make up the 14 points, and the tiebreaker went to Logano. But then again, on the other side, if Logano loses positions, he loses points and adds point, and Reddick gets closer. So, with 25 laps left on a green flag run, Tyler Reddick goes on an absolute binge spree of just passing champions, good road course racers, from Kyle Busch to his boss Denny Hamlin, while Michael Jordan's on the pit box hoping that he passes on, because Bubba Wallace is not going through. He already got eliminated in the round of 12. And he does it. He does it so good that he's above the cut line by 4 positions, by 4 points. Logano gets knocked out, a former champion. Now all that's left, the final 8. The final 8. Reddick, Larson, Hamlin, former champion, Blaney, last year's champion, Christopher Bell, a guy that's really hungry for a championship, and all 4 Hendrick cars. Larson, Elliott, Bowman. Bowman ran pretty well at the Roval, finished a decent position. And Byron, who finished second, I think, or was close to the top 5 the whole day. So I think Larson is my favorite right now to come out of that final 8 and win that championship. But I know that it will be a Hendrick car winning the championship. And it's either going to be a second one for Chase Elliott, a second one for Larson, a first one for Byron, or a first one for Bowman. And I'm excited to see that. Although I like Tyler Reddick. All right. We get back to Formula One this weekend. Okay. We get back to Formula One this weekend. Go to Coda. Okay. I expect McLaren to still have the edge. Although Lewis loves that track, has won there, I believe, 7 or 8 times, has like 9 poles there, most of anybody. But I think McLaren is poised to keep charging at that championship. Now, Verstappen probably gets second or third. We'll see how qualifying pans out. If he gets pole, it'll be a lot more difficult for McLaren to get the win, but I believe they can pass him in the race. I don't think that they don't have the race pace. I think that they have the race pace enough to pass Verstappen just on merit. But we shall see as we get closer to the weekend. But we're at Coda this weekend. Formula One is back. Before we get into the baseball, before we get into the football, basketball. Okay. I've seen a couple things. I've seen preseason. Okay. Haven't seen all of them because I don't want to see the bench players play unless you're a high draft pick. That's no offense to the bench players. I love all players in the NBA, but it's not the setting of, it's more like a warm-up for the stars. The stars play their game and stuff like that, but they're not, you can tell they're not actively going for it. It's just in spurts. So I like watching the spurts. What did I say last year? Not even last year. This past May or June when Minnesota got eliminated. I was like, watch out for Anthony Edwards for MVP next year. Guess who repeated my sentiments today on First Take? Stephen A. Smith. The GOAT. That should tell you I know what I'm talking about. I knew he was going into the lab. This team is going to be better than last year. Why? They're not running the double big lineup. I just saw him go against the Knicks, and they were leading most of the game when the starters were on the floor. And we're talking about Cat was on the floor, Anunoby was on the floor, Mikal Bridges was on the floor, Josh Hart. So it was a legit starter versus starter, spurts here and there, 7-8 minute spurts of ones versus ones. And what I saw was Anthony Edwards went in the lab and said, I'm going to shoot better from three. I'm going to shoot better from three. That was my fault. I'm going to shoot better from three. And boy, that boy hit 9 threes yesterday. I don't think he's hit 9 threes in his career. Okay, so if he's going to come like that, guess what Stephen A. said? Stephen A. said if he's going to shoot like that during the season, Anthony Edwards going to win MVP. And I was like, yup. Because that's exactly how I expected to him attack the offseason. When you get that close to the pinnacle, when you get to the Western Conference Finals, you made it to the last 4. That's like making the ALCS or the NLCS. Okay? That's like making the Final 4 in NCAA. In the old playoff format of NCAA football, that's like making the Final 4. You were one of the last 4. That means that if everybody takes the right strides, gets into the lab, works on their craft, gets better as a basketball player overall, skillful-wise, I think that team is a legit Larry O'Brien contender. Especially with Dante DiVincenzo. That's going to be such a great compliment to Ant. You're not going to be able to double him no more. Why? Because there is actual spacing on the floor. I like what Jaden McDaniels looks like. I like it. Watch out for Julius Randle. Another reason you're not going to be able to double Ant. Because if he plays like Julius Randle, like we know he can, too much scoring on the floor. Dillingham, I want to see him in the regular season, see how he is off the bench, and I think he'll work himself into being Ant's number 2 in the future. But I like this team. Another team that I saw and I liked. Memphis Grizzlies. Ja's back. In full force. Fully healthy. No problems off the court. Another guy that's probably going for an MVP. Another guy that's probably going to be in those talks. Okay? A team that I saw, that I liked what I saw. Denver Nuggets. I liked what I saw. Didn't see much. Jokic looks good. Jamal looks healthy. Okay? You have to remember, playoffs, he wasn't healthy. The knee was bad. He had surgery. And then went to play for Canada. Was horrible there. Now he's fully healthy. Okay? Philly looks good. New York Knicks look good. Pelicans look good with Zion. Him, DeJounte Murray, and CJ McCollum with Trey Murphy. Hopefully Hawkins gets more of a burn this year because of his shooting. I like that. Edey looks good. Risa Shea, the number 1 pick, looks... I've seen a little bit of something from him. Alex Sarr looks interesting. Reed Shepherd might win the Rookie of the Year. So I like what I'm seeing. I like what I'm seeing from Damian Lillard. I think he's poised for a big year. I think him and Giannis have figured it out. I think him and Doc have figured it out. The Lakers look good, although I hate to say it. They look good. Anthony Davis, LeBron look good. Connect looks good. Max Christie looks good. Okay? OKC going to be OKC. They're going to be good. I need to see a little bit more of Mavs with Clay, but I like what I saw so far. I just haven't seen anything with Luka yet. I don't know what the Heat are going to do. I saw Indiana. They look good. They look good. Okay? So, I saw the Spurs. They look good with Wemby out there with Chris Paul. They look good. Stephon Castle looks good. The guy that got picked fourth overall. He looks good. He might be Wemby's number 2. We'll see. Okay? So there's teams that I like what I see. There's other teams that, they're going to be horrible. Golden State. I like what I see from Kuminga. Steph looks fine. Pajinski, we just got to see it to believe it. See the three-point shooting go down. I like what Buddy Hield has brought. Maybe another spacer, just like Clay was. Not at the same level, but very, very high-level shot maker. So I think they're going to be okay. Phoenix, from what I've seen, okay. Although I think Devin Booker's coming on a revenge tour. KD looks fine. So does Bradley Beal. Are they going to have enough? On the bench, are they going to have enough? Other than that, Boston looks like Boston. Nothing changed there. Still look like Boston. Now, I think that Boston's super advantage will be definitely caught up to this year. And their super advantage is the athleticism at the wing position with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. But I think that they're going to face better scoring duos and more problems with the Knicks, with a cat, with Damian Lillard now being Damian Lillard. You get what I'm saying? Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and Paul George is probably going to be the hardest matchup for them. That Sixer, every time they face the Sixers, is going to be must-watch TV because there has to be a way that Missoula is going to somehow, some way cover Tyrese, Joel, and Paul George. I don't see it, but we shall see. So that's in basketball. Baseball. Cleveland survives in Game 4 with a David Fry pinch hit 2-run home run. Yankees eliminate the Kansas City Royals in Game 4 in an absolute gem from Garret Cole with 7 innings and 4 Ks, and the bullpen finished it. The Dodgers head to the NLCS after beating the Padres 2-0 at home from two homers, 1 homer for each of the Hernandez, Kike and Teoscar, and then a gem from Yoshinobu Yamamoto, 5 innings, and then the bullpen finished it. And then the Dodgers dominate the Mets in Game 1 of the NLCS. They had, because they got broken today by Francisco Lindor's leadoff home run in Game 2. They had 33 straight scoreless innings pitching, bullpen and everything. 33 straight scoreless innings. They won 9-0 yesterday. The offense woke up. Jack Flaherty went 7 scoreless with 6 Ks. Dominated. Today, Lindor home run in the first leadoff. And then a grand slam by Mark Vientos. And it's 6-0. And it's already in the 5th. And it looks it looks like it's going to be tied going to New York. That's what happens, your bullpen is eventually going to give up something. Lindor set the tone. Bases loaded. Vientos hit another dead center. I mean, he went Like he went far. He went 397. Not 400. Wouldn't have been a home run in his own park. But I think he went like 391, 397. Hit it solid. Landed knack. Middle of the plate. And just served it up for him. So, yeah, I guess it's going to be 1-1. I thought that the Dodgers were going to dominate this series, especially at home. But with not having starting pitchers and only being able to put out Jack Flaherty and Yoshinobu Yamamoto every 5 days, those bullpen games are going to be tough. He doesn't have to throw his high-leverage people today because 6-0, fifth inning, you want to save everybody because you know you're going to have tough games in New York, and it's 3 of them because it goes 2-3-2. So, yeah, you're gonna want to hold up on that bullpen. Manaea's pitched great. Struck out Ohtani, struck out Betts, has struck out Freddie twice. Yeah, just complete shutdown by Manaea. After he changed his arm slot, it looks like, he's pitching like Chris Sale. Like he pitches like Chris Sale. Doesn't have the slider that Chris Sale has. Doesn't have the velocity that Chris Sale has. He lives 93, 94. Chris Sale, as we know, 97, 98, 90, 96, 97, 98. So, definitely just dominated. Is he still pitching? Manaea is still pitching. It's the bottom of the 5th. Just started. Manaea is at 58 pitches. So super efficient. Super efficient. Just up, 3 down. Easy. 6-0. Game's basically over. All right, let's go to college football. First thing we got to talk about, of course, is... before that, how did the Guardians make it against the Yankees? Very shocking fashion. Guardians hit a grand slam off of Tarek Skubal. First home run he allowed since September 18th. Some shit like that. Lane Thomas... They defeated the Tigers 7-3 in Cleveland. Lane Thomas in the 5th inning, grand slam. Oh, Max Muncy just hit a home run, so it's 6-1. Right now. Tarek Skubal, grand slam. And then the bullpen survives the rest of the game with 8 pitchers. And Class A got a 6-out save. Just a grand slam off the best pitcher in the league this year. It was tough. He was dominating. He was really pitching well. And then, boom. It was over. Just like that. All right. Oregon stuns number 2 Ohio State. What a game in Autzen. We could talk about the Kyle McCord play. We could talk about, at the end of the game, not knowing how to manage and stuff like that. But at the same time, sometimes you are in a place that you haven't been before. This is Ohio State's, I think, first time ever going to Autzen. So, you haven't done before. Loud stadium. They're used to the shoe, but this is a loud stadium. Not a lot of capacity, 50, 60,000, but loud stadium. And it just caught up to him. And nothing against him either, nothing against him. Will Howard played well. Travion Henderson, although he should have ran the ball more. It was 32-31. And Ohio State was winning the whole game. Will Howard went 28 for 35, 326, 9.3 a completion, 2 touchdowns, a QBR of 93.4. Travion Henderson went 10 for 87. Quinshon Judkins was 11 for 23. People saying 21 carries between the both of them, probably not enough. Will Howard also ran it 9 times for 13 yards. I don't know what he's doing that for. Jeremiah Smith went 9 catches for 100 and a touchdown. Emeka Ibuka went 10 for 93 and a touchdown. They played a really, really good game. Really good game. But the Oregon offensive line stood up. And the Ohio State defense played well, but key big plays to Tez Johnson and to Evan Stewart. Man, Dylan Gabriel goes 23 for 34, 341, also efficient, 10 yards a completion, 2 touchdowns, 95.9 QBR. Jordan James ran the shit out of the ball, 23 carries, 115 yards, and a touchdown. Dylan Gabriel ran 4 carries, 32 yards, a long of 27. That was a touchdown. Evan Stewart goes 7 catches, 149 yards, and a touchdown, one 69-yarder, which was a beautiful pass. Tez Johnson goes 7 for 75 and a touchdown, a 48-yarder. That was nice. And their defense played well. You know, they played well enough to hold back Ohio State, and they won. Now, this is not an indictment on Ohio State whatsoever. Yes, the clock management was kind of bad at the end, but I don't put this on Ryan Day. You know, I don't put this on Chip Kelly. I think that this was just a really good Oregon squad with game day there at home, like Big Ten, like, you know, basically opener for these two teams of like heavy hitters that might meet again in the college football playoff. And it was a great game. Great game. Just Oregon made more big plays than Ohio State. All right. Everything else. Bama squeaks by South Carolina. I am going to be very honest. This Bama defense is not what I thought it was. The Bama offense is not what I thought it was either. When they have to face a Texas or in the playoffs, Ohio State, maybe Oregon, I think it's going to be tough for them. I like them, but 27-25 against an unranked South Carolina team after coming off the 40-35 loss to Vandy, it's not a good look. Clemson continues to dominate, 49-14. Absolute destruction. Missouri comes back, 45-3 against UMass. Texas destroys Oklahoma in the Red River rivalry, 34-33. It started a little rocky. Started off a little rocky. Quinn Ewers had to get his rhythm again, but once it got his rhythm, 34-3, no problem. Penn State survives USC. Survives in overtime. The Penn State defense does enough against USC and what's this guy's name? Miller. Jesus. Miller Moss. And Drew Adler just squeaks by. They ran the ball well, but that's not good for the number 4 team in the nation to be pushed to the brink by an unranked USC squad. Notre Dame beat Stanford 49-7. Riley Leonard threw for 3 touchdowns. He looked great. That's what they're hoping that they keep getting. Pitt maintains its undefeated against California, squeaks by 17-15. This game was atrocious. This game just didn't have no continuity, just a lot of defense and a lot of bad plays. But Pitt survived. Illinois wins over Purdue by 1, 50-49. Whew, squeaking by. BYU destroys Arizona, 41-19. Georgia beats Mississippi State, 41-31. I thought it would not be as close, but they still win, so they keep that number 5 ranking. Tennessee kind of squeaks by Florida. The defense was on Nico's ass. Pause. But Tennessee squeaks by 23-17 over Florida at home. LSU upsets Ole Miss. Night game in LSU at Death Valley. Not a lot of losses there over program history when it's that scenario. They win in overtime 29-26. You got a great game from both. Jackson Dart, 24 for 42, 284, a touchdown and a pick. QBR 52.4, not a lot. Ulysses Bentley runs for 11 and 107. Henry Parrish gets hurt in the middle of the game, 14 for 42. Jackson Dart ran 15 times for 27 yards. I don't know where the hell you're running. Caden Lee went 9 receptions for 132 yards. Trey Harris went 7 for 102. So they ran pretty well. They had some fumbles. Garrett Nussmeier went 22 for 51, 337, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, 72.9 QBR. Caden Durham ran for 12, but they didn't run the ball at all. They ran the ball for 84 yards. Kyron Lacey went 5 for 111. Aaron Anderson went 3 for 81. Those were touchdown scores. And then Trey Des Green, that's your last touchdown score, 1 for 12. That was the touchdown. Overall, they just played well. They played better. They played at home. And that's why they were able to beat Ole Miss. Iowa State beats West Virginia 28-16. Kansas State beats Colorado 31-28 in a Avery Johnson just kind of salted this game away. Every drive that Colorado could put together to do something either ended in a turnover or in a punt. Avery Johnson for Kansas State went 15 of 23, 224, 2 touchdowns, a pick. He got hurt a little bit, but he came back. DJ Giddens dominated this game. This was the running back game for Kansas State. They ran the ball down their throat, 25 carries, 182 yards. This guy might have gotten drafted off of this game. Dylan Edwards, the transfer from Colorado, he ran for 21 yards on 7 carries and a touchdown. Avery Johnson ran in for a touchdown, even though he ran for negative 15 yards on 7 carries. Jace Brown went 6 for 21. This kid can play. This is another Tyler Lockett-ish type of player from Kansas State, another really good, solid receiver from there. Averaged 20.2 yards a reception, 2 touchdowns along a 50. DJ Giddens went 2 for 38. I mean, nobody else really caught the ball except Jace Brown. It was pretty funny. And for Colorado, Travis Hunter got hurt on a reception. I believe it was a stinger or shoulder. Shador went 34 for 40. I mean, extremely efficient. 388, 9.7 a completion, 3 touchdowns, a pick, 80.4 QBR. Just continues to be accurate, be efficient. But they couldn't run the ball. They ran the ball for negative 29 yards on 19 carries. That is disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting. I don't know how you run for that. Shador ran for minus 50 yards. That's how many times he got sacked. I think it was like 7 times. Omarion Miller had to be the number 1 receiver because Jimmy Horn and Travis Hunter were out in the middle of the game. Omarion went for 8 receptions and 145 yards along a 51, and he got hurt. Then Will Shepard went 5 for 83. LeJontay Wester went 5 for 58. Travis went 3 for 26, but he got hurt middle of the game. And then Jimmy went 3 for 20, and then he also got hurt. 4-2 for Colorado, still the Big Ten ahead. Still there. I mean, the Big 12 still ahead, still there for the taking. But Kansas State now 5-1, gonna raise that ranking a little bit. And then Boise State, Ashton Jeanty, another 200-yard rushing game. This guy's insane. 31 carries. I mean, they're riding him. Pause. They're riding him as a running back. They're running him into the ground, but he can do it. 31 carries, 217 yards, 7 yards a carry, and a touchdown along a 54. This guy is your Heisman favorite right now. Cameron Camper had a nice game, 7 for 111 through the air. Receiving. But they beat the shit out of Hawaii, 28-7, and probably gonna go up a little bit with that 17 ranking. And then Utah loses to Arizona. Utah's done. 4-2. It's gonna be tough to come back from that. ASU 5-1, unranked. All right, let's go to the NFL. Okay, let's go to the NFL. We are undefeated, ladies and gentlemen. We are currently undefeated this week. If the Bills win tonight, we have another undefeated week again. We had one last year. We also had a one-loss week last year. That's how you know I know what I'm talking about, guys. I appreciate all the support, especially when we start getting these clips going, this editing going, these stats. We're going to get more in-depth and stuff like that once I move to the new place. But we're undefeated. 49ers Seahawks. This was a domination by 49ers. Just turned over Geno a bunch. Brock went 18 for 28, 255, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Isaac Guerrero ran for 10 carries and 99 yards. Jordan Mason got hurt, so Isaac Guerrero took over. And then Mason, I believe, came back. Purdy ran for 19. Debo ran for 15. Debo went 3 catches for 102, along of 76. That was a touchdown. George Kittle caught 2 touchdowns. Kyle Juszczyk ran a touchdown in, I believe. Yeah, Kyle Juszczyk ran a touchdown in. I mean, it was 36-24 is not the story. Okay? Their defense had 3 sacks. Or 1 sack, excuse me. Had 1 sack from Sam Okuyainu. Tatum Bethune recovered a fumble. And let me see. Bernardo Green, the rookie from FSU, got his first pick. And Malik Mustafa, the rookie as well, he also caught a pick. Just forced Geno into bad throws, overthrows. Geno went 30 for 52, threw the ball 52 times. They ran the ball 20 times, so not a lot of balance, if we saying. They couldn't run the ball. Of course, you can't run the ball against this defense. They only ran it for 52 yards on 20 carries, average 2.6 yards a carry, a whole total non-factor. Geno threw for 312, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, a sack for 6 yards. Tyler Lockett went 4 for 65. Noah Fant was 6 for 63. JSN went 5 for 53. DK went 3 for 48. I mean, it was just not, they threw for 312, but they didn't throw anywhere, really. Laviska Shenault lost a fumble. That was the big turning point in the game, because they were driving at the beginning of the game, and he fumbled. Their defense played okay. No sacks, but, they're also hurt. Laviska Shenault ran back a kickoff, a dynamic kickoff, 97 yards for a touchdown to make it a little bit more reasonable. But, the 49ers just didn't stop scoring at all. 3-0 first quarter, still kind of competitive, 16-3 at halftime. Then Seahawks add 14. So it's 17 to what is 16 plus 7? Sorry, guys. 23. So 23-17, and then 49ers add another 13 on top of that to get to 36, while the Seahawks score once in the fourth quarter to get to 24. So, are the Seahawks bad? No, I think they're just a mid-team. They have a good offense, but if they can't run the ball, the offense does not work, and then they're super hurt on defense. And then 49ers are the 49ers. They might be 3-3, but I think that this team is better than their record, and I think that they will show that throughout the rest of the season. Although I do have some questions without Christian McCaffrey. You got to find more Ayuk. You got to find more Debo, more George, and the defense cannot give up easy stuff. I see a couple of easy stuff given up by the defense, but Fred Warner's still the best in the league, and they should be fine. All right. Jaguars, Bears. I told you that the Bears were going to win. Caleb played a beautiful game. Threw 4 touchdowns, 2 to Cole Kmet, 2 to Keenan Allen, got him involved. Trevor went 23 for 35, 234, 2 touchdowns and a pick, 3 sacks for 20 yards. Dearness Johnson was their leading rusher. They ran for 68 yards on 20 carries. They threw the ball 35 times, so a 15 play type differential, no balance at all. Poor Doug Peterson. They couldn't run the ball at all. Evan Ingram went 10 catches for 102 in his return. Gabe Davis went 5 for 45 and 2 touchdowns, and he dropped 2 touchdowns essentially because he did. Christian Kirk went 3 for 39. Brian Thomas with his lowest output of the season, 3 of 27. They really covered him up. Jalen Johnson. Their defense played okay. They had 3 sacks. You had a sack from Ezi Otomeu, half a sack from him. You had Roy Robinson Harris had a sack, and then Josh Hines Allen had a sack as well, and Mason Smith, the rookie from Michigan, had a sack. Andre Sisco got a pick. I mean, all that is nice. I'm really concerned about Travis Etienne. I don't know if they're actually going to use him anymore. I feel like Tank Bigsby's taking that job. Not good news for me because I have Travis Etienne on my fantasy team as one of my starting running backs. I might have to look into Bucky Irving on my bench for production because, boy, we ain't getting to here. Chicago, Caleb, 23 for 29. Very nice. 226, 7.8 yards a completion, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick, 3 sacks for 5 yards, a rating of 124.4, QBR of 88.4, all respectable. DeAndre Swift, 17 for 91 and a touchdown. That's what you need. Caleb went 4 carries for 56 yards, mostly on scrambling. Cole Kmet was their leading receiver, 5 for 70, 2 touchdowns on 5 targets. Keenan went 5 for 41, 2 touchdowns on 5 targets. Rome went 2 for 40 on 2 targets. No DJ Moore this game, though. 4 for 20 on 5 targets, not a lot of doing for the star receiver. Their defense played really well, 4 sacks, including Amen Ogboganemiga. Yeah, boy, these names. Chris Williams, Brian Cowart, and Montez Sweat with half a sack, and DeMarcus Walker was a sack as well. So they had a pretty good day. Josh Blackwell got an interception. Just dominated, man. Jacksonville's a dumpster fire. It's unfortunate because I like their talent. I like Brian Thomas Jr. I like Travis Etienne. I like Tank Bigsby, Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk. But boy, man, like they cannot get anything going on the offensive side of the ball, and the defensive side of the ball is even worse. I love Trayvon Walker. I love Josh Hines Allen, but the back end is awful. And unfortunately, this team is going down the tubes. They're 1-5. Bears are 4-2 and probably the best division in football, the NFC North. 1-5 for the Jags. I think Doug Peterson's probably counting his days. I think even though I like him as a coach, this is just not working and awful is what I got to say. Texans, Patriots, another awful team, 41-21. We're not going to spend a lot of time here. I'm just going to give you C.J. Stroud, 20 for 31, 192. Didn't have to do a lot. 3 touchdowns, one pick, 2 sacks for 16 yards, rating of 100.5, QBR of 74.5. Joe Mixon went 13 for 102 in his return and a touchdown. Damian Pierce went 8 for 76, a long of 54. Joe Mixon had a long of 59 and a touchdown as well for Pierce. Stephon Diggs went 6 for 77 and a touchdown on 7 targets. Tank Dell went 7 for 57 and a touchdown on 9 targets. I like him looking for his best friend. That's good. Joe Mixon went 2 for 30 and a touchdown. Their defense played pretty well. They got 4 sacks, including 3 from Will Anderson. Absolutely dominated. Got 1 from Daniil Hunter. Got 2 picks, 1 from Kalen Bullock, 1 from Eric Murray. Just dominated. Drake May, 20 for 33. Saw some flashes, saw some things, but overall not. That offensive line is god-awful, horrible. So, unfortunately, he couldn't do much. He went 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, 4 sacks for 34 yards, QBR of 31.1, 88.8 rating. Listen, man, the kid can play. He has talent. It's not like he's devoid of talent. He's not a Mac Jones out there. But that offensive line and the receiving core is just awful, beyond awful. He ran for 38 yards on 5 carries, mostly literally running away. Antonio Gibson went 13 for 19. They couldn't run the ball. They ran the ball 26 times for 82 yards, threw the ball 33 times. So a little bit of balance, but, not a lot of effectiveness with the running game. Demario Douglas went 6 for 92 and a touchdown on 9 targets. Kayshon Boutte went 3 for 59 and a touchdown on 3 targets. Hunter Henry went 3 for 41 on 5 targets. Antonio Gibson went 3 for 24 on 4 targets. Not using Jalen Polk a lot. I don't know why. They had fumbles galore. Austin Hooper, Drake May, they both lost fumbles. Their defense had 2 sacks. One from Christian Ellis, half from Christian Ellis. Marte Mapu had half a sack. And Jacqueline Roy had a sack as well. Marcus Jones had a pick. And that's about it, guys. 41-21, complete ass whooping. Texans look really, really good at 5-1. Top 3 team in the league for sure. Probably behind Detroit and the Ravens. Speaking of the Ravens Commanders 30-23. I knew the Ravens were going to win. They just had a better run game. No Brian Robinson Jr. this game. That was big. Also, the defense for Washington, although they played well, still kind of lackluster on the back end, especially to what Zay Flowers did to them. Derek had a good outing. Lamar had a great outing, looking like MVP Lamar. But Jaden Daniels played absolutely incredible, tit for tat with Lamar. If he had a better defense, he could have probably won the game. Just really, really, really liked what I saw from the rookie this week. He went 24 for 35, 269, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 3 for 16 on sacks, 74.2 QBR, 110.3 rating. Jaden Daniels also ran for 22 yards. This is the problem. This is why they lost. They only ran 18 times for 52 yards, threw the ball 35 times. When you can't run, you can't have balance. Austin Eckler went 9 for 21. Jeremy McNichols only ran for 9 yards. Zach Ertz had 4 for 68 on 5 targets. Noah Brown went 4 for 58 on 8 targets. Terry McLaurin on 7 targets went 6 for 53 and 2 touchdowns. One on the back line in the end zone. The other one, a beautiful throw, tight window to the pylon, the front pylon in the fourth quarter. Austin Eckler went 4 for 47. Olamide Zaccheaus went 4 for 27. De'Ami Brown went 1 for 11. Luke McCaffrey went 1 for 5. Their defense played okay. They did leave 30 points happening, but they played okay. But it's 6-2. Dodgers just scored a run, but I think it's 6-3. Bottom of the 6th. All right, Dodgers are back. Maybe they're not dead. That'd be crazy if they can come back from 6-0 after the start that they had. Mike Sanders still got his first pick ever, the rookie from Michigan. Their defense played okay. They had two sacks from Dante Fowler, but just didn't have enough against this Ravens team. Lamar went 20 for 26, 323, 12.4 completion, a touchdown, a pick, 2 sacks for 15 yards, 72.5 QBR, 114.7 rating. Derrick Henry went 24 carries for 132. Lamar went 11 for 40. They ran for 176 yards. Fourth or sixth game in a row that they've outrushed their opponent by over 100 yards. That hasn't happened since stats became officially like started to get accounted for. So that's crazy. So they ran for 37 carries for 176 yards and 2 touchdowns. They passed the ball 26 times. So this is a running team. Zay Flowers went 9 for 132, all in the first half on 9 targets. Rashad Bateman went 4 for 71 on 4 targets. Mark Andrews got into the end zone, 6 for 66 on 4 targets. Isaiah Likely, 2 for 27. You had fumbles by Linderbaum. Lamar recovered it. Their defense played great. 3 sacks. 1 by Travis Jones, half by Michael Pierce. Nnamdi Madubuike, half a sack, and then Yannick Ngakoue a sack. No picks, because Jaden Daniels takes care of the ball, but they dominated. It was a good game, but the Ravens came out on top as expected. Eagles, Browns, I thought this would be a lot. And when I mean a lot, I thought this would be a lot better from the Eagles, especially getting back Devontae Smith, getting back A.J. Brown. And it was a nail biter, 20 to 16 against a 1-4, now 1-5 Browns team. Deshaun Watson, 16 for 23, 168, 5 sacks for 24 yards, just 34.6 QBR. Pierre Strong, they only ran the ball for 100 yards on 25 carries. So they ran more than they passed, but only for 100 yards, 4 yards a carry, nothing crazy. Pierre Strong went 8 for 43. Dante Foreman went 10 for 31. Possible to have Nick Chubb back next week. Maybe that changes the offense. You know how good Nick Chubb is, so we'll see. But their offensive line's still atrocious because of injuries. Amari went 4 for 42 on 6 targets. Judy went 1 for 35 on 3 targets. Pierre Strong went 2 for 35. I mean, there was nothing here. Their defense only got 1 sack. That was Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, JOK, with a sack, no interceptions. Just awful play from a trash franchise that just doesn't know what they're doing in any capacity. Probably the most failed transaction, most horrible contract ever handed out in NFL history. To a starting quarterback, $233 million guaranteed, and getting bottom 5 QB play out of that. Jalen Hurts, 16 for 25, 264, nothing crazy. 2 touchdowns, no picks. 1 sack for 8 yards, 73.1 QBR, 126.1 rating. It looks good, but it's really not, as flashy as it is. It's all A.J. Brown. This is kind of like a CeeDee Lamb, although he has Devontae Smith, so I'm not going to say that. But A.J. Brown, 6 catches, 116 yards, and a touchdown along a 40, and the icing long ball to put it away on 9 targets. Just, you could tell that this offense is different when 11's on. Devontae Smith went 3 for 64, along a 45, and a touchdown. And that was pretty much it. Cam Jurgens fumbled. Jalen Hurts recovered. Their defense got 5 sacks on this Cleveland Browns offense. Half a sack from Cooper DeJean on a blitz. Josh Sweat got a sack. Nolan Smith Jr. got a sack finally. And Bryce Huff finally got a half a sack. Jalen Carter got a sack. Milton Williams got half a sack. And Thomas Booker IV got a sack. Yeah, just should have been a lot more dominant. But, they'll take the win. They still want to fire Sirianni. They think he's a clown. Everybody thinks he's a clown. Listen, if you're winning, you're not getting fired. That's just how it works. Do I think that their offense should be better? Absolutely, but this is also a good defense, so we'll see against a mediocre defense. This is a really good defense, good people on the back end, good people up front. So we'll see what happens later on in the season. Packers-Cardinals, we knew this was going to go down like this, 34-13 Packers. In a rainy game, it was sloppy. Marvin Harrison Jr. got concussed very early on in the game. Kyler went 22 for 32, 214, a touchdown, 55.8, 97.7 rating. Troy Benson ran for 5. They only ran for 89 yards and 23 carries. They passed the ball 32 times, so they couldn't run the ball either. Trey McBride went 8 for 96, a nice coming out party for him on 8 targets. Amari DeMarcado, the running back, went 5 for 39 on 7 targets. Greg Dortch went 3 for 36 on 5 targets. James Conner went 4 for 22 on 5 targets. So he's not even looking for his receivers. James Conner fumbled, lost it. Kyler Murray fumbled, lost it. Greg Dortch fumbled, lost it. So 3 lost fumbles. Their defense couldn't do absolutely nothing. Sean Murphy Bunting got a pick, but nothing about it. For the Packers, it all looked good. 22 of 32 for 258, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick, 81.4 QBR, 119.5 rating. Josh Jacobs went 18 for 62, so not a lot, but they ran for 179 yards on 38 carries and only threw it 32 times. Christian Watson caught a long touchdown, 44 yards. And touchdown. Romeo Doubs caught 2 touchdowns, one on a beautiful pass from Romeo Doubs and a hell of an effort from Romeo Doubs, and then also on a heave from Jordan Love that Romeo Doubs paid him off at the end. Jaden Reed went 6 for 28 and a touchdown. I thought he would be more involved. Dontavian Wicks dropped like 2 touchdowns. Bo Melton went 1 for 6. Kenny Clark recovered a fumble. Jair Alexander recovered a fumble, and Carl Brooks recovered a fumble. They had no sacks, but 2 TFLs as a defense. And they just destroyed the Arizona Cardinals. They're 2-4. It's tough to grade this team when their defense is so bad, and no Marvin Harrison now for probably like 2 weeks. So it's gonna be tough, man. All right, Buccaneers Saints, an absolute shootout at the beginning of the game, 24-27 at halftime. Saints winning with Spencer Rattler, and then the wheels came off. 27 unanswered points from the Buccaneers to end it 51-27. Baker went 24 for 36, 325, 4 touchdowns, 3 picks though. 1 for 8 on sacks, 52.1 QBR, 97.6 rating. Sean Tucker, the rookie from Syracuse, ran 14 carries for 136 yards, just couldn't be tackled, and a touchdown. Bucky Irving went 14 for 81 and a touchdown as well. They ran for 277 yards. They almost had 500 yards of offense. Actually, no, they had more than 500 yards of offense. Baker ran it for 29 yards. Sterling Shepard got 4 carries for 31 yards. Chris Godwin went 11 receptions for 125 yards. Really big game. 2 touchdowns on 13 targets. Then Sean Tucker went 3 for 56. Mike Evans went 2 for 38 on 6 targets. They just couldn't find him. That'll probably change. Tristan Wirfs fumbled. Antoine Winfield recovered a fumble, and Kate Otten recovered Tristan Wirfs' fumble. Their defense played pretty well, 5 sacks. KJ Britt had half a sack. Chris Braswell had half a sack. Elijah Cansey had a sack. And Vita Vea, of course, had a sack. Levante David on a blitz, of course, has a sack. Zion McCollum gets a pick, and Tyke Smith gets a pick, the rookie. Just overall beatdown. It was close, 27-24, but then the Bucs turned it on. Spencer Rattler went 22 for 40. There was some good throws in there, but there was also some mistakes. 243, a touchdown, 2 picks, 27.7, 60.7. Alvin Kamara went 13 for 40. They couldn't run the ball. They only ran the ball for 81 yards. That's why basically it got away from them. They threw the ball 40 times on a rookie's first start. Only ran the ball 21 times. Foster Moreau was their leading receiver with 2 catches and 54 yards. Bub Means caught his first touchdown. Jawan Johnson. Chris Olave also with a concussion. He was out. He caught 1 ball for 5 yards, got hit, and he was out. Chris Olave also fumbled on that play. Alvin Kamara fumbled. Spencer Rattler recovered it, and he also fumbled himself. Their defense, 1 sack, and that came from Willie Gay. They got 3 picks, though. Jonathan Abram got a pick. Paulson Adebo got a pick. And Cameron Jordan got a pick on a tip. But it was all for naught because the Bucs just started really, really just dominating in the second half. Colts beat the Titans in a close one, 20-17. Joe Flacco throws it to Michael Pittman for the winner. This offense looks good sometimes, doesn't look good other times. This one doesn't look good because JT's not playing. So Joe Flacco was 22 for 38, 189, 2 touchdowns and a pick, no sacks. Tyler Goodson runs for 51 yards. Terry Sermon goes 18 carries for 29 yards. Only ran the ball 80 yards all game. So not a good running game. Ran it 28 times, passed it 38. Josh Downs went 7 for 66 and a touchdown. Mo Ali Cox went 4 for 41 on 4 targets. They target Josh Downs was targeted 9 times. I like that. Pittman went 3 for 35 on 5 targets. We need to get his targets up. The guy that's not doing nothing, Adonai Mitchell, 2 for 9 on 4 targets. It's been 6 weeks. Nothing from him, unfortunately. 1 touchdown, I believe, on a little 5-yard route. Just nothing to show for so far this year for the rookie out of Texas. Their defense, no sacks, but Julian Blackmon got a pick. And, just played a clean game. You know, they're 3-3. You know, Tennessee 1-4. They're another dumpster fire. Will Levis went 16 for 27 for 95 yards. Doesn't even crack 100. Gets a touchdown. Gets a pick. Tony Pollard went 17 for 93. Another good day with a touchdown. Tajay Spears got hurt. He went 6 for 27. DeAndre Hopkins went 4 for 54. And I didn't even know because Red Zone didn't even show any of his catches. They didn't show this game barely at all, just the touchdowns of Indiana. Tyler Boyd went 3 for 19. Treylon Burks went 1 for 10. And Nick Westbrook-Akine caught the touchdown, 1 for 9, the touchdown on 2 targets. Fumbles by Chigakonkwo. Will Levis recovered it. Their defense, no sacks. Amani Hooker with a pick, and that's about it. Boring ass game. Chargers Broncos. Told you Chargers were just the better team with Harbaugh and stuff like that. 23-16. Broncos tried to make a comeback in the second half, just fell short though. The Broncos made enough. You know, they ran the ball enough. They passed the ball around enough. And then just defense kind of held. Justin Herbert went 21 for 34, 237, nothing crazy. 1 touchdown, 3 sacks for 15 yards. A rating of 92.4, QBR of 74.6. J.K. Dobbins went 25 for 96 and a touchdown, so very good day for him. Darius Davis ran for 214 yards. Kamani Vidal went 4 for 11. Hassan Haskins, the former Wolverine, went 2 for 5. Simi Fuoco, leading receiver, 2 for 44 on 4 targets. Lab McConkey, 4 for 48 on 8 targets. Kamani Vidal, 2 for 40 on 2 targets. Joshua Palmer, 2 for 38 on 3 targets. Quentin Johnson, 3 for 22 on 4 targets. So much for being a number 1. Let's see here. Their defense got 2 sacks. Morgan Fox and Alohi Gilman. Elijah Molden got a pick. On the Broncos side, Bo Nix went 19 for 33, 216, 2 touchdowns and a pick, 2 sacks for 10 yards. rating of 84.9. He ran for 61 yards, also the leading rusher, 6 for 61, mostly on scrambles. Javonte Williams couldn't do nothing, 6 for 23. They ran the ball for 110 yards, threw it 33 times, ran it 18 times. They got away from that pretty quick. Leading receiver was Devon Vele, the rookie from Utah, I believe. 4 for 78 on 6 targets. Cortland Sutton got a big touchdown at the end to make it 16 to make it close. One-handed grab at the back of the end zone that was reviewed and also upheld. 4 for 53 and a touchdown on 6 targets. Troy Franklin, his Oregon teammate, went 2 for 31 in a touchdown. First touchdown of the year on 3 targets. Just not a lot of production. Javonte Williams lost a fumble. That was big in the first half. Their defense got 3 sacks. Half a sack from Jonathan Cooper. Zach Allen got half a sack. And Justin Stranad got a sack. I believe somebody else. Let me see real quick. I believe somebody else got a sack. 3 sacks, half. Just Stranad. And Mitchell Fraboni got a sack. All right, then we go Steelers 32, Raiders 13. We knew this was going to happen. Justin Fields went 14 for 24, 145, didn't do much. Took 3 sacks for 35 yards. Najee had a good day, finally, 14 for 106, along with 36 and a touchdown. Justin Fields ran 2 touchdowns 11 for 59. Ran the ball for 183 yards on 35 carries, so the balance definitely on the running side. George Pickens goes 3 for 53 on 8 targets. That's not efficient. Calvin Austin was 2 for 36 on 5 targets. Najee Harris went 2 for 16 on 2 targets. Pat Freiermuth was 2 for 16 on 3 targets. So not a lot of production there. This was mostly a defensive game. Justin Fields fumbled, but Deshaun Elliott recovered a fumble. Keanu Benton recovered a fumble. And also Jaylen Warren recovered Justin Fields' fumble. Their defense got 1 sack, and that 1 sack came from Cameron Hayward. They got Dante Jackson pick, and that's about it. Just kind of did their thing on the ground. Aiden O'Connell went 27 for 40, 227, so better than, I believe, what Minshew would have done. 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 1 sack for 9 yards. Alexander Madison couldn't run. They couldn't run the ball. They ran the ball 19 times for 57 yards, averaging 3 yards a carry with 1 touchdown from Alexander Madison. That's atrocious. Brock Bowers, still their leading receiver, 9 for 71 on 10 targets. I like that. And then DJ Turner went 2 for 37, and then everybody else was non-factor. Amir Abdullah fumbled twice, lost 1, recovered the other. Dylan Lobb lost a fumble as well. Their defense got 3 sacks, 1 from Kayvon Chason, half from Max Crosby, half from John Jenkins, and Divine Diablo. He came back and got a sack. No picks. This team is another dumpster fire. I would imagine that they're going to pick high in the draft for another quarterback. This might be a Shedeur Sanders team, might be a Quinn Ewers team, might be a Milton team. Might be a lot of things, okay? Might be a lot of things. Cam Ward, but they need help. And fast. All right. Lions Cowboys, the beatdown 47-9. Well, we're going to talk about Aiden Hutchinson, broken tibia. The Detroit Lions, as every show has said today, they have to go get a pass rusher. There's nobody on that defense that can do even 25% of what Aiden Hutchinson has done. He led the league in pressures. He led the league in sacks. And he will continue doing that for the next week because he was that far ahead. Tragic that he had to hit Aleal McNeil's leg. It snapped like Anderson Silva's checked kick. It just basically snapped in half. Had a compound fracture. Had a surgery. So he's gonna be out for a minute. Have to go get Max Crosby. Have to go get Josh Hines Allen. Have to go get guys like that. You have to go get guys like that. Try to go after a Myles Garrett, a Zadarius Smith from Cleveland. This is your window. You have the cap space. Go get a guy that will get you sacks. You need it because that D-line cannot do it by themselves. Jared Goff, 18 for 25, 315, 12.6 a completion, 3 touchdowns, no picks. 2 sacks for 17 yards, 71.3 QBR, 153.8 rating, almost perfect. Actually, perfect. 153.8. Yeah, that's perfect QB rating. David Montgomery, 12 for 80. Jahmyr Gibbs, 12 for 62. Montgomery with 2 touchdowns. Just ran over them. Just showed them that they were more physical. Jamison Williams caught 2 bombs, 3 for 76 and a touchdown on 4 targets. Khalif Raymond went 4 for 73 on 6 targets. Tim Patrick, former Bronco, coming off of the knee injury and the Achilles. He's been doing well the last 2 weeks, 3 for 68 on 3 targets. Sam Laporta goes 1 for 52, and the 52 was a trick play, a 52-yard touchdown. Thank God he did something, man. They really phased him out of the offense. It's unfortunate. Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra went 4 for 37 on a touchdown and 4 targets, so they didn't really use him. Craig Reynolds fumbled, but he recovered it. Malcolm Rodriguez recovered a fumble. Terrion Arnold recovered a fumble. They got 4 sacks, 1 for Maiden Hutchinson when he broke his leg. Trayvon Nowaski got a sack and 2 sacks for Aleem McNeil. Brian Branch got 2 picks, 1 in the end zone. And then Kirby Joseph got a pick. They just dominated Dallas, man. Dak Prescott went 17 for 33, 178. No touchdowns, 2 picks, 4 sacks for 26 yards, 11.4 QBR, 42.2 rating. They ran the ball for 53 yards on 17 carries. They cannot run the ball. Cannot run the ball at all, period. Outside, inside, nothing. Zone, man-to-man, double screen, nothing. They can't do nothing on the ground. CeeDee Lamb went 7 for 89, no touchdowns on 14 targets. Jalen Tolbert went 4 for 43. Rico Dowdle went 5 for 30, and that was pretty much it. Kevontae Turpin fumbled. Ryan Flournoy fumbled as well. Their defense got 3 sacks, 1 from KJ Henry, half from Chauncey Golston. Donovan Wilson got 1 and half from Damon Clark. No picks. Just got dominated, 47-9. At home, just absolute beatdown. Falcons beat the Panthers 38-20. Bijan has a good day. Kirk has a good day. He goes 19 for 30, 225, so nothing crazy. A touchdown, no sacks, 85.3 QBR, 97.2 rating. Tyler Algier goes 18 carries for 105. Bijan goes 15 for 95, 38 carries in total, 98 yards, 3 touchdowns. Bijan with 2 of them, Tyler with 1. Just another domination on the ground. Just imposing the will with this offensive line. The offense looks good. Drake London 6 for 74 on 10 targets. Kyle Pitts 3 for 70 on 5 targets. I like that. Darnell Mooney 3 for 38 on 5 targets. So he's spreading the ball around. I like that. Their defense got 0 sacks, but they got Clark Phillips III on a pick, and AJ Terrell got a pick as well. And then the Panthers, man, just another dumpster fire. 1-5, 26 of 38 for 221 for Andy Dalton, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, 51 QBR, a rating of 78.9, 0 sacks. Chuba Hubbard went 18 for 92. They ran the ball for 114 yards on 24 carries, threw the ball 38 times. Deontay Johnson went 6 for 78 on 10 targets and a touchdown. Jatavion Sanders, the rookie from Texas, went 5 for 49 on 7 targets. Coker went 3 targets, 30 yards. Xavier Legette caught a touchdown. He went 3 for 23 on 4 targets. So they're just not using their people that they drafted, honestly. Their defense did nothing, no sacks, no picks. 38-20. Just it was close at the beginning, and then Atlanta started to pull away. And then Bengals win 17-7 against a really good defensive line. But Joe Burrow pulls it out. They hang on 17 of 28, 208 yards. Not a Joe Burrow game at all. 4 sacks for 25 yards. QBR of 87.7, 89.9 rating. Joe Burrow 4 for 55 on the ground and a touchdown. Yeah, he ran for 47 yards on a touchdown, hit 19 miles an hour. Chase Brown went 10 for 53. Zach Moss went 6 for 13. They ran the ball for 121 yards on 20 carries, passed the ball 28 times. So it's okay balance. T. Higgins really featured, 7 catches on 7 targets, 77 yards. Jamar Chase 5 for 72 on 6 targets. Yosivas 2 for 36 on 3 targets. No passing touchdowns. Zach Moss lost a fumble. Chase Brown fumbled, but he recovered. They got 2 sacks, two from Trey Hendrickson, and that was it. And then Jermaine Pratt got a pick. For the Giants, they only scored 7 points, so there's not a lot to break down here. Daniel Jones went 22 for 41, 205, a pick, no touchdowns, 2 sacks, 15 yards, 18.2 QBR, 57.5 rating. That's what happens when you don't got Malik Neighbors. Daniel Jones also was the leading rusher, 11 carries for 56 yards. Tyrone Tracy, 17 for 50. He looks good and a touchdown. Eric Gray, 3 for 13. They ran the ball for 119 yards on 31 carries, 41 passes. That's okay. Darius Slayton, 6 for 57 on 11 targets. Just missed a lot. Tyrone Tracy, 6 for 57 on 6 targets. As a running back, that's pretty good. Wan'Dale Robinson, 5 for 50 on 11 targets. Also just didn't hit him. Jalen Hyatt, 1 for 6. I mean, they're not using him. Theo Johnson, the rookie from Penn State, 3 for 30 on 3 targets. Their defense got 4 sacks. Aziz Ojolari with 2. Sexy Dexy with 1. And Brian Burns with 1. No picks. Just, is it a dumpster fire? I don't know, but, you know, Daniel Jones definitely not it. And then maybe with Malik Neighbors, it'll be a little bit better, but still, that's nothing. That's your recap. Tonight I got the Bills against the Jets. I just think they just can't stop Josh Allen. James Cook is going to play. Khalil Shakir will play. So I'm not, even with the Ulbrich and new coach and all that, I just don't buy it. You still gotta get open. You still gotta make the plays. Hopefully they give Breece Hall the ball. If they win, cool. But I think the Bills are a better team. They just ran into a really, really good team last week. But other than that, thank you for joining me on episode 147. The game is currently in the 7th inning. Bottom 7th, 2 outs. Man on first, which is Ohtani. Bottom 7th, 2 outs. Bunky just struck out against Ryan Stanek. I don't know if they'll come back. It is possible. It's 3 runs. Especially with the Dodgers, it's possible. But the momentum that the Mets carried from that 6 run explosion in the first 2 innings, I think will carry them through this win. Probably get Edwin in here, Sugar, either in the 8th or the 9th to close it out. But so it'll probably be 1-1. And also after this game, that's it. Bottom of the 7th is done. Heading to the top of the 8th with the Mets due up. Yankees Guardians is after this game. I got Yankees today against Rodon. With Rodon. I just think that in Yankee Stadium, I think Judge has a way better series than he did against the Royals and their pitching. I think Soto stays hot. Jazz is going to be a big factor. Volpe, Glaber's hitting the ball well. So as long as they get their pitching straight, their bullpen's locked down, I expect the Yankees to win tonight and the series. Other than that, I love you guys. Thank you for supporting me. Big things are coming. The scenery is going to change. And yeah, God bless you guys. I love you guys. And I leave you all with the outro.